This
Yep.
is the Tesla Model Y was the world's best-selling car in Q1 2023. Tell us about it, Kieran.
Well, yeah, this is super exciting. I think like it's not just the world's best-selling EV, it's the world's best-selling car, and it's not just like China, America, or some country, or even Norway that has a lot of EV sales. It's the world. And you can see in the picture at the top there's some other very popular cars. I think, are they all Toyotas?
No, I think. Well, that's a Toyota. They said the Rav4 is Toyota. No, there was like a Ranger. I think a Ford Ranger was also up there.
All of those in that picture are all Toyotas. So there's the Toyota Corolla is the second, then
Yes, the
Hilux,
line
then
Hilux.
RAV4, then Camry. So yeah,
Wow. You love Toyota. You have a Toyota, and you
we
and you
do
are
have a
full
Toyota.
into. You do have
I
a
do have a
Toyota.
Toyota Corolla in the driveway.
Yes.
But I bought it 10 years ago. So back then things were different. That today I would never buy a Toyota. Unless they brought out an amazing EV.
What
But
about the
I think
hybrids? Do you think they are
no,
here because of the hybrids? This is a good conversation to have because
yeah.
the Corolla got incredibly popular. The same with the Camry and even the Rav4 when they started doing hybrids. Everyone and their uncle wanted
Oh
a
yeah.
Corolla, a hybrid Corolla, and a hybrid Camry. So
They made amazing hybrids and they have made amazing hybrids, but a hybrid was a transition technology that was great, but now is not the time where the Corolla where hybrid is the best.
mhm.
And I think that it's the future is going to be all electric. Hybrids, yeah, make sense and they're still popular and selling. And I'd prefer a hybrid on the road over a full petrol car. But right now we are so far progressed and EVs are so popular, which we can see here. We've got the evidence that the Model Y is the world's most best-selling car. EVs are the future. If Toyota had an EV that was anywhere near the Model Y, would it be in this list?
Yes, easy. They have the
Yeah,
brand
and that's the
recognition.
thing. Like
They have the
they've
brand
missed.
loyalty. They have everything they want, and they also have the quality of manufacturing as well. They are good cars. They make good cars. Internal combustion, hybrid, whatever you want to call it. They make good cars. It is very
Mhm.
interesting that they are one of the ones that are being the slowest at taking the
Mm.
EV. And we know that's well, we discussed it in the previous podcast that never aired about how they are betting on hydrogen and how that is hurting
But
them. But
at the same time, right now, like in present day, they are making a lot of money on all of these cars.
they are.
Right? If
So
the second best-selling car in the world, third, fourth, fifth, it's actually potentially in their interest to delay an EV as much as possible because they'd be competing with themselves.
a very important thing to notice here is the Hilux can be an expensive car, and it's kind of a car on its own, so we won't discuss it. But the RAV4 is a crossover SUV. The Corolla it can be a sedan or it can be a coupe or it can be different ones, the same as the Camry. But most of them have a huge range, lots of models, and a huge price range between them. You can get here in Australia, you can get a Corolla from 20 something thousand dollars up until 60 or $70,000. So the
Mm.
fact that they are competing a car that the cheapest one starts roughly with price with in-road costs at around 70 grand, that is incredibly interesting. The fact that a car that would be 3 to 2 times more expensive than the cheapest ones that you see here, which is probably a Toyota Corolla at its basic, that would actually make it way more susceptible. Well, susceptible is the right word. I don't know. More people would buy it just because it's cheaper and it's a good car. So the fact that it can beat a car that would be at least half its price,
Hmm.
that is not nothing, Kieran. That is
Yeah, and I think I want to focus more on what this means. Is that I think this is really a point. It's kind of the start of that sort of, I don't know, some people call it exponential curves. Maybe it's not going to be that fast. But the speed of
I
adoption of
think it is an exponential.
EVs
Yeah.
is only going to speed up at this point. And it's a really exciting time because being the top selling car, they do also have a future car coming out, which they're predicting to have double the amount of sales as the Y. And their factories are all ramping up. So
If
they
they can
actually
hit
are,
the
the wait
price,
times are lower, the
the only
prices are being lowered. Like there's so many
yes,
things that are going to help them, and also force other manufacturers and other um, EVs to
competitive.
sell more
Yeah,
and to compete.
yeah. No, I agree 100%. It's very meaningful. I think it's an exponential curve. The best way that someone described it to me was 2022 was the iPhone year. Was the same year as
Mm,
2007 for the iPhone. So in 2007, nobody had a smartphone. The iPhone came around. It took 2 or 3 or 4 years to really gain momentum. But once it hit it, everyone had an iPhone. And that's
yeah.
probably what we're going to start seeing. And we have a couple of articles about how car manufacturers are looking at, less than 10 years to start going full electrical, big car manufacturers. We'll talk about that in a few more minutes. But that is very interesting. And I think that is why, if you are sitting there and you are, Volvo or Mini or Mercedes Benz, and you say these guys are the number one with a luxury car, that's incredibly important. It's a
Hmm.
luxury car. If
Yeah.
you can be the best selling car with a luxury brand, then woo, imagine what that means for anyone else. It is
Mm,
very exciting. It is very exciting, and I think it's an
super
exponential
exciting.
curve, and I think we're gonna be seeing way more of this. And I do agree that Toyota should get into gear. Or the next one is we're gonna be seeing Hyundai's here. We were talking
Hmm.
about the Ionics and the Konas, and we were talking about
Yeah.
all of the other ones that are coming. Whew,
Well, yeah, and
they
Hyundai are transitioning from being sort of more of a budget brand that people are sort of like, oh, that's cheap cars, to now, because of their EV and their new strategy and their new design, becoming a lot more of a premium brand and competing against some more of these cars. So I think that's also really exciting because they have adopted a more aggressive EV strategy than some other sort of legacy car makers. So yeah, really exciting about what's coming out of Hyundai right now.
just make quick point about Hyundai. Hyundai, at least in Australia, Hyundai is probably the best value car in the market. They are good looking, they are adequate cars, but they are very cheap compared to anything that is in the market. So if you are looking at buying, a Toyota Corolla, chances are if you go and you cross the street and you go to Hyundai, you would get more for pretty much the same car, even if they are a little bit less reliable, or you know they offer a lot for the price. So that would be very interesting to see in the in the electric industry, because they are very
Mm.
well priced for all the extras and all of the stuff that they do.
Yeah, they have some more models coming out, and I think if they
Hmm.
do release more of them in Australia, they'll be a lot more exciting too.